thank you so much for joining us once again for the Wall Street Image Podcast. Today I'm very excited. I have a really good friend of mine. I normally on most occasions would not dress up for a podcast. Y'all have seen the previous ones. I'm just laid back. But she told me what she was wearing today, so I told her what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna come on my show and you're not gonna outdo me. I was getting ready to rent a tuxedo, y'all, because she's not gonna put me out there like that. Y'all, today I'm joined by my friend, my sister, Miss Nita Durrell of Durrell Realty Group.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Now, Nita and I have worked together for about a year or so. We were actually introduced by a mutual friend in the real estate industry. And me and Nita got our first opportunity to work together. I did some photography for one of her agents, and then we started doing video projects together. And ever since then, we've just been cool. We've been rolling. We've been rolling. So, Nita, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your business, and how did you get into real estate?
Well, again, Nita Durrell, broker owner of Durrell Realty Group. Married to Greg Durrell. He is the owner of Durrell Design Group. 2 little girls. So, if you ever see me post anything about the 2 little people keeping me busy, it's Addison and Ariel. So, about 5 years ago, I decided to start Durrell Realty Group. But prior to that, I was working with Broker South Properties of Jackson as a real estate agent. So now I've been in the business for about 11 or 12 years now.
Wow.
When I decided to make the move from being a real estate agent to a broker, it was about being able to have that creative control, being able to also provide a service to people who look like me, and also to educate people who look like me. So I grew up where we didn't really own anything, you know what I mean? And so a lot of that may have been from lack of knowledge, not knowing the process or what to do. So being in a position where I can educate people, give them the information so they can make those educated decisions about home ownership was really important for me. So that was one of the main reasons for moving from being a real estate agent to being a broker.
Cool. So was it always your desire to be a real estate agent, or what were you doing prior to getting into real estate?
I can say, it was never when I'm growing up, I'm going to be a real estate agent. That was something that I wasn't exposed to until later in life. So after graduating from Mississippi State University, I was working at WCBI. There, I was a weekend anchor, producer, photog. So I got a chance to do those things. And so Greg and I moved to Central Mississippi, the Clinton area. And I started working at Fox 40 there as a news producer there as well, and did a little bit of interviewing. And so from there, I got an opportunity to work as a communications director for some of our legislators. Got a chance to really be involved in that process and, look at how things work behind the scenes. I really enjoyed that. That was a great learning experience. And then from there, I became the legislative liaison and kind of right-hand man, if you will, for one of our executive directors for a top agency in our state. So I've had an opportunity to really work that arena of communications, PR, and so I think it was just a natural fit for me to land in real estate. Right.
Well, that's awesome. So as a real estate agent, what is one of your main objectives? There's so many different real estate brokerages, so many people who are in real estate. What is one of the things that when you established your company that you wanted to do to differentiate yourself from some of the other real estate agencies that are out there?
I don't think I really look at other companies or other agencies. I think I look at what works best for my brand, which is, I always want to make sure that we're providing professional service. So anybody that works with me as a real estate agent will tell you that I'm the type of broker that I firmly believe in providing excellent service to the agents that work alongside me, and so that they can provide excellent service to our clients. So for me, the professionalism, the training, being knowledgeable about what you're doing those are the things that we instill in the environment that we have at our company. So again, you know, I'm really big on driving my own lane. Whatever anybody else is doing, it does not impact or change what my plans are for our particular company. So for me, it's just about being professional and providing the best service we can to those that are in our community.
Right. One of the things that I noticed when we first started working together with your brand is very sleek, it's very modern, it's very clean. So was there a lot of emphasis put into that when you were actually establishing your business, that you wanted a certain look, you wanted a certain look and feel for it to be?
So naturally, coming from my background being public relations, communications, I knew that it was important that when people see me, they see that brand, that their takeaway was that this is somebody that's professional, they know what they're doing, I know what type of services that I'm going to receive.
Right.
So I remember when I first got started, there's a broker who's passed away. When I first got out there, you know, putting the marketing and everything out, he pulled me aside from one of the classes and he said, I see what you're doing. He says, you're doing a great job. You look professional. The brand is professional. He said, you can stand up against any big box company that's out there. You keep going and keep doing what you're doing. So to have someone in the industry that I respect, to just, you know, pull me aside and say those things, it meant a whole lot. But for the general public, when they see our marketing, when they see our brand, I want them to know that they're going to receive excellent service. They're going to receive the best service that they can get in real estate.
Right. And another thing is that when we first started, I think you only had maybe 3 or 4 agents that were working alongside you.
But that was by design, though.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm really big on family and having an environment where I know the people that I work with. I don't want anybody to come in and feel like that you're just a number, that you're just transactional. Like I like to get to know the people that I'm working with. I want them to feel like I've got a question, I've got a concern, I've got a broker that I can touch, that I can reach. And so we've grown, you know, quite a bit since then. It seemed like it just happened overnight. And so, but we're still strategic in who we bring in. We still have a process that we go through. And so, you know, we would like to see, you know, a healthy number, but we don't want to be so large that we cannot touch the people that are in the company and that we are not, you know, aware of things that are going on.
Right. Another thing that I absolutely love that you do is that you are very personable with all of your agents and all of your real estate clients. Even with myself coming into the videography and the media business, you know, I was just out there just trying to reach out to different people, trying to get my foot in the door. And you were very welcoming when it came to giving me an opportunity to you know, just to put my talent on display with your brand. And that meant a lot to me because I knew, you know, how clean and how sleek your brand was, and challenging myself to try to, you know, make that expectation real. So you as a person, what is it about you that you try to give people an opportunity to excel in whatever arena, whether that's real estate, whether that's helping you with media. You even do videos. We've done videos with several different companies.
To get that started again.
Yeah, we've done videos with, you know, home inspectors.
Lawn care. We've got some more things that are coming down the pipeline as well.
But you spotlight different people within your industry. So what is it about you that kind of wants you to not only just focus on what you do as a company, but spotlight these other companies and help them excel as well?
I think it just may be just who I am. I'm one of those that I don't care for the crab in the bucket kind of mentality. I feel like if, you know, one does well, we all do well because you're attached to me. So I don't think there's ever a situation where, you know, knowledge should be withheld. If I know something, I feel like, hey, let me share that with you so you can do well. I feel like anybody sitting at the table with me, it should not just be one person doing well. It should be everybody, you know, does well. I'm a firm believer in whatever God has for you, it is for you. So even if I'm helping someone else or spotlighting someone else, it doesn't take away from what I'm doing. It doesn't take away from my business. It enhances. So for me, I've just built a relationship. I've just built, you know, another networking opportunity with someone else. So to see someone else grow, it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
So what is one of the toughest things that you've encountered as being a broker, starting a business? What is one of the most difficult parts of getting it up and running, and then after it's up and running, maintaining that steady flow?
I think for me, I think that, and this is where my little people help me balance a little bit. When I'm really passionate about something, I really love what I do.
Right.
It's really hard for me to kind of find that switch to turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
So I really love real estate. I love the people that I meet. I love that every person that comes through that door, there's a different story. There's a different why they're doing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So my little people, Addison and area, they help me balance that. Mm-hmm. So for them, you know, when they call or there's something that they need, they know mommy's going to be there. They know daddy's going to be there. So it's the balancing part that's really hard. Yeah. Because I love it. Yeah. Like I enjoy it. Right. So that's probably the most difficult part for me.
Right. Now let's talk about some of the misconceptions about real estate, because I know that, you know, real estate is one of those things that seems to be like the glamour. It seems to be, you know, when you turn on the TV, you can go to HGTV, you can go to BET and see like real estate agents. They're out, they're closing, they're, you know, they're selling these houses today and they're driving in a Ferrari tomorrow.
No.
But is it like that? Is it really like that?
It's not. And, you know, I get that question a lot. I actually, from prior to coming here, I was doing a consultation with a buyer. And so she saw like the marketing stuff and she was like, I think I want to get my real estate license. Yeah. And I was like, well, let's talk about that, you know, since you're interested. And so she was like, well, I'll probably do it a couple of days out of the week. And so I was like, well, so I'm sitting here with you. And I said, because this is the time that worked for you, right? She said, yeah. I said, so it's your expectation that whenever you call, I'm going to be there able to provide that service, right? She said, yes. So we were kind of walking through that. You know, there are documents that you've got to know well, that you've got to be able to put together an offer. You've got to, you know, be able to go to training. Right. There is so much that changes in our industry that happens that you have to stay on top of the training. Right. That you have to make yourself always a student. Right. And so by the time I got done, and I wasn't trying to talk her out of it. She was like, oh, no, I don't think I want to do that. That's not what I want to do. But I think so often people see the 30-minute shows, they see the glitz and the glamour, and never see really the hard work that goes behind it. We're now sitting in one of the toughest seasons in real estate because right now we have what you call a seller's market. Right. So we have more buyers than we have homes. Right. So you may, you know, have the best agent in the world, but they could be competing against 30 other offers. Wow. You know, you could have one agent seriously writing 30 offers for one client just for them to have the opportunity. Wow. So this is, you know, not always the easiest industry. It is rewarding when you sit at a table with your client and you see that smile, that cry, and they get the keys to their first home. Right. But so often we don't see everything leading up to that. Right. For some people who may not have had the education or the knowledge given to them when they were younger to learn how to save, learn how to make sure that you are utilizing your credit cards the right way, or that you are, that you know what your options are when it comes to, you know, financing. Right. So there is work for some of our clients that it may take them a year before they're able to buy a house. Right. Work goes into that. Right. It's not just the client. It is making sure that we keep you you know, current on, you know, what you need to do, or, you know, stay away from this. You know, this may not be helping you, you know, as you're moving forward. So there's a lot of work, a lot of training. And I tell anybody, when you get into real estate, you have to have a love for people. Yeah. Because you're dealing with people who are probably buying the only, but the biggest purchase of their lifetime. Right. And so if they're buying the biggest purchase of their lifetime, you're dealing with that emotion. Yeah. Let's say that, you know, you're dealing with somebody who may be getting married. So there may be the stresses of that because they want to buy their first home together. Right. You may be dealing with someone who may be going through a divorce and they're trying to figure out how to sell the house but still get along. Right. So there is so much that come along with people, with humans. Yeah. So you have to deal with each individual as they come.
Right.
And when you're dealing with, with that emotionally, that could be draining.
Absolutely.
Because you want to make sure that you're giving them the information that they need and that you're walking them through that transaction specifically for them.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
each one is different.
And that's a key thing that you said is that as the agent, you're trying to help them find what they want and not just trying to make a quick commission off of the sale. I remember when we purchased our first home, we had, a recommended agent. I had specific things in mind that I wanted. And when, maybe those things may not have been on the market, it was like they were showing me things that were totally outside of what I wanted. Yeah. So, I mean, completely outside the realm of what I asked for, out of the district, out of the city, that I was like, well, let's try this. And it was kind of frustrating because I knew what I wanted, getting ready to get married. And like you said, there's a lot of emotion involved. You know what you can afford. You know where you want to be. And,
that's right.
Your commute to work. All of those things are factors. And so finally finding an agent who was more concerned about, what do you want? I'm going to go get that was so helpful. And I think, I've even heard referrals that I've given to you talk about, how informative you were in helping them through that process and the things that they, I've even, heard somebody say that, there was something I asked Nita, she said, if I don't know it, just give me a minute, I'll go find out.
I will find
and you won't just throw an answer out there just to
right.
kind of suffice to make it seem like you know everything about everything. But I think that's important is just letting people know that our concern is making sure that you get what you're looking for.
That's right.
That's really cool. So next, you talked a little bit about. You look like you're nervous.
Because I'm waiting on what this next question.
Nita is not y'all. Nita is not a nervous person. So she is like we do videos all the time, and she's acting like.
But it's different when you're being interviewed because it you're having a conversation. It's easier, but it's like, okay, what's the next?
Yeah, she's trying to get ahead of me. She really waiting to see what the rapid fire questions are going to be. But we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. So you talked about family life. That's a very important thing in any industry. If you have a family, how do you balance the two? You have two little girls, and you have a husband at home who also has his own business.
Right.
And to be supportive of him, to be his wife, and to be there for your kids. Like, how do you balance in such a demanded industry?
I tell you, I'm blessed to have an amazing partner. Going back to what we talked about earlier, making sure that God is at the center of our marriage, of our home. That's number one. That is something that is a non-negotiable. Like, he's there. Next to that, again, having a partner that is working with you and not against you. We are both what I like to call drivers.
Right.
We both have, these ideas, these goals that we want to reach, and we're not waiting for permission.
Yeah.
We're going after it.
Right.
And so we have come up with a schedule for us that work. It may not work for anybody else, but it works for us.
Right.
And so I would like to think one of the, if not the most amazing husband, the person that I get to work with, and live with and share this life with. He gets up in the morning, no matter what day, no matter how tired, if he worked 24 hours, if he worked all night, he's going to get up, he's going to make sure that those girls have a hot breakfast.
Right.
And so I'm not the cook in the house. He is. So he makes sure, that we eat. I take care of other things inside the house. I mean, and we really rotate. We make sure that we make time for each other. We make sure that we make time, with the kids. And then we also, allow each other to have time, to ourselves.
Right.
So that we have that mommy time or he has that daddy time. And it may look different. For him, it may be, hey, I just want to, watch the game. For me, it may be, okay, I kind of want to have a spa day.
Yeah.
And so it's about just taking care of each other, communicating, and finding what works for us.
Right. You have two little girls. How old are your daughters?
7 and 9.
So
now.
7 and 9.
Yes.
You are a Black woman who is also a business owner. And one of the things that I noted that Greg said at the awards banquet, which was a few days ago, that you all actually had for your agents, was that he brought them, so that they could see what, mommy and daddy, they get up and go to work.
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
But this is a result of, the hard work that we put in.
Yeah.
So what is it that you want to instill in those little girls that they can achieve, even being Black young ladies?
Yeah, so for me, it makes me cry, just emotional, looking at where I've come from and looking at where we are now.
Yeah.
You know, if you hear Greg's story, you hear, that he was homeless at one time, and to see where we are now, to know that there is, when I was younger, I really didn't have any role models. You know, I didn't have, I had an awesome mom that did the best with what she had, where she was at, and knowing, that I didn't have those role models or information or things right there in front of me. We want them to grow up a little bit differently. We want them to know that you have access to information. We want them to know the sky's the limit. Yeah. You don't have to say, oh, this is only as far as I can go. I want them to know that there is no ceiling for you.
Right.
And so, where we started kind of set back a little bit, having to kind of build, they'll start so much farther than where we started. And so I want my girls to not only see that you can do it, I want them to also be people that give back to their community. I want them to be able to reach back, grab somebody and say, come on, you can do it too. And so it's important for them to be able to have those role models, not only inside the home, but for me, having agents on the team that look like me. They see other black men, they see other black women that look like them and go, oh, she's doing it, I can do it too.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Good job. Well, that's awesome. That's amazing. And so much of what you said, just really hit home for me, because when I look at where my parents came from, the stories that they told about, coming, from inner cities and having to walk to school, things like that. And, sometimes, we were less appreciative of that fact of, how privileged we were. Yeah. We wanted to fit in with the kids in the inner city. We wanted to fit in, and sometimes we even got teased about some of those things. People will, try to bring you down, say y'all are white, y'all are, they'll try to do those things. But
what does that mean?
But thankfully, my parents, they were so determined to give us a better future than the past that they had.
That's right.
And so now, me having a son, I have no excuse for not being able to work hard and try to provide him an even better life than even that I had. So it's, somebody in the generation has to make up their mind that regardless of where I came from, I'm, I hold my own future in my hand. And I hold my, my children, I can point them in a more positive direction. That's awesome.
That's right.
All right. So Nita, this has been a super great conversation. I feel like we at some point I have to have a second follow-up part of this. But we're going to get into some rapid fire questions, because I know that that's what you have really been waiting on.
No!
Now, Nita, you are a stickler for when you are on camera. Like, anytime me and Nita shoot, like, she's always checking her hair. She's always, like, if her nails or something, a little chipped or something, she's very uncomfortable. So I'm going to ask her this first question. Nita, if you had to get on TV, you had to interview Obama, you have an hour before this interview, you have a choice between getting your nails done or getting your hair done. Which one are you going to choose?
I would choose hair.
You going to choose your hair?
Yeah, because I think it'd be easier to hide nails and toes. But hair, that's going to be the first thing.
So you're going to be putting your hands in your pockets? And
oh, no. I know how to work it out now. I know how to work it out. I know how to angle that camera that it looks just a certain way. You ain't got to see them hands.
Cool. All right, next question. A lot of times, in real estate, we see like the glamour pictures. We see the arms folded, the arms crossed. Most of the time, when y'all are out showing houses, you're probably not just dressed up. No. You're in a polo, you getting stuff done.
Right.
You ready to rock and roll. If you had to choose between only wearing dresses and only wearing polos for the rest of your career, which one would it be?
Polo.
You did the polo.
Very easy.
More casual?
Yeah, easy, because I'm able to get more done, and I think sometimes for the other person sitting across the table, they're able to feel a bit more comfortable. So I can wear a polo and still present myself as being professional.
Cool. I love that. If you had to choose a career outside of real estate to go into right now, what would it be?
Television. As a little girl, I always had a dream. I wanted to be on Good Morning America. So I would do like a morning talk show.
Okay, what would it be called?
I don't know. That's a good question. Morning Talks with Nita.
Something like that. That sounds good. So, last question. there may be somebody who watches this and they see you and they're inspired by your story. They're inspired by your drive, your commitment to real estate, and they're passionate about it, but they're kind of on the edge about it. What would you say to that person, male or female, if they want to get into real estate? How did they thrive? How did they become successful?
I would say it really depends on the individual, because I can only speak for Durrell Realty Group. We're going to provide the resources, the information that you need. The three things that we look for in an agent: humble, hungry, and a love for people. I like having the one-on-one conversation to kind of maneuver through, you know, maybe those obstacles that you may see in real estate, or, you know, maybe trying to find a creative way just to kind of work through.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, where can people reach you if they want to sell their home, buy a home, want to refer you to someone?
All right. Well, you can call the office at 601-875-0200, or you can call my personal cell at 601-540-7959. Look forward to hearing from you.
Awesome. This has been All Things Real Estate with Miss Nita Durrell. I have really enjoyed this. So guys, leave in the comments if you want us to do a follow-up, if you have some follow-up questions. I'm sure Nita wouldn't mind.
I want to come back.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll come back anytime, and then she'll also answer any questions that you guys have. But thank you all so much for tuning in for another episode of the Wall Street Image Podcast. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook at the Wall Street Image. Thank you guys so much. Hit the like, share, subscribe, and we will talk to you guys in the next video.
All right, peace out.
That was it.
You should do it without the jacket.
No. I ain't doing nothing. No, I ain't doing nothing without the jacket. You came with the dress and
no,
the
necklace
and
you got to do it without the dress. Hey, you want me to play with this? What you want to do with this? I can press play?
No, it's for the TV.
Oh.
Oh my God.
I'm about to mess some stuff up.
You know I'm keeping all this for your bloopers. All this crazy stuff you tell me.
Don't keep that.
We're gonna go through it one more time.